So here is my finished water collection system. We got enough rain off of the roof the past week to fill my 2 barrels, and I just put screen on top to keep the bugs out and the dirt and the grass and the weeds. I put them together with threaded connectors after I drilled a hole through the bottom, and then connected them together with more PVC. There we go. So water will find its own level, which means really I only need to fill one of these, and the other barrel will rise to the same level. So I've got them connected together at the bottom. As one fills, the other fills, so it's always equal. Added on a spigot and a little leader hose from Lowe's. Have some extra plants growing there. I have either blackberry or blueberry on the top left, sage and rosemary. And then my leader hose connects to a soaker hose, and you can see the water pressure in the barrels is enough to have the soaker hose water my veggies. The other hose you see that is not leaking is tied to the house in case my barrels run dry from lack of rain. In the back I've got oregano, in the middle thyme, in the front here I've got parsley, I've got red onions coming up, I've got green onions, I've got red seedless grapes reaching up for the used spring from a baby crib that somebody was throwing out. I have lots of tomatoes coming up. I have more parsley. I have here basil and green bell pepper. I've already gotten 2 good green bell peppers off this plant. Got another one coming up. Here I have zucchini, and you can see one back in there, and I've already grabbed lots of zucchinis off this plant. There's some more hiding inside there. And then I've got another sage plant which is doing really well, and hiding back here in a corner I have jalapeno, which I thought had died during a winter, but it didn't, so it's starting to come back. And yeah, the fencing I got at Lowe's also keeps out the feral cat, not neighborhood cat, the feral cat that adopted us. I've had so much success with this garden last year and this year that I'm getting ready to do a much larger project. The only problem is I don't think I'm going to use this area. I was going to go between this tree and that tree back there in the middle and make a triangular shaped larger garden, but it's getting way too much shade. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this area, but I'm going to do a bigger garden. I might just extend this one out further, or put it back there in the back of the yard. I can't plant in the ground. I've got to do everything raised bed because my whole property is like this. Now this is caliche on top, however my whole property underground is like this. Lots of rock and clay, and it's just not good for growing. So I decided to try raised beds, and it works pretty darn good. Little bit by little bit I'll get it going. When I toss things out, I put them in a compost bin for creating mulch to put back into the gardens. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of my system, and have high hopes for improving and enlarging it.
So as you can see, I decided to extend my garden in front of the original garden using some reclaimed timber. I put down some cardboard, and I'll finish filling in the rest of the plot with some more cardboard. Then I'll put some rebar down to keep the timbers in place, and put down some old dead oak branches, some green oak leaves, and some cut grass before I fill it all in with good dirt. So here you can see what it looks like with the dead oak branches down and green oak leaves thrown on top with dead grass on top of that, and I've started to fill in the bed.
You can see over here I've got cardboard down at the bottom. You might be able to still see some there and on the sides. And then I put some old dead pieces of oak branch down from my land, and then on top of that I put some green oak leaves down, and on top of that some cut grass. And now I'm going to put over it a mixture of this organic raised bed mix from Harvest Organics and this organic garden soil from Living Earth. Both products I think are pretty good. I really like the Living Earth better. It's broken down a lot more. It's a lot more rich. And then after I'm done, I'm going to be putting on top of that some of the Stay Green flower and vegetable garden soil to give all my seeds and transplants a nice start to their new life. I'm going to mix some of this up. And if you come in close, you can kind of see the difference between the two. The organic raised bed mix from Harvest Organics has got a little bit more pieces of wood in it. The organic soil, garden soil from Living Earth is a lot more like, well, soil. All right, so I'm going to mix this up and then I'm going to spread it. I've got it all mixed up. I'm going to dump it all out. You're thinking, well, Barry, you could use a rake or a hoe to get all that out of that cart. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I like get my hands in the dirt, and this spreads the dirt around, mixes it a little bit more. All right, and let's see, need to get that shovel. Spread it around even some more. And because I was not real careful about cutting these fresh green oak leaves off the oak tree, they kind of go all different which ways and they stick up. So I'm going to be trimming those off and digging with my hands and burying them under the dirt some more. I'll let you know when I'm done. Now I'm wetting it all down because of all those branches and everything that I had down there. There's a chance that there'll be air pockets. So, but I'm going to wet it all down. Make sure that it all collapses, that there's no air pockets. All right, I got this idea from another YouTuber. YouTube is fantastic for learning stuff you need to know, that and friends who've done it before you. So make sure and do your homework first so that you can sit back and take it easy watching YouTube videos and then sit back and reap the rewards as your garden grows stuff for you to eat. Now I did spend $98 at Lowe's for all that soil I put in, plus a hose wand that I'm going to replace this gun with because it leaks like crazy, as you can see. And it's not the hose washer. It's not that. It's just bad. I don't know, maybe it's just old calcium deposits, something. So anyway, I got me a nice wand, puts out a nice solid soaking spray, and I also got a deep planter, cheap. It's only like $6-7. So probably all that dirt over there cost me about $80. And yeah, it is an investment. The wood was reclaimed wood that I did not spend any money on, and the soil won't last forever, but I can use it forever. I mean, the nutrition in the soil won't last forever, but it will last forever. And all I have to do sometime is maybe add some compost to it in the future, or maybe some manure to give the vitamins and nutrients the plants need back into it at some future point. Some minerals, some seaweed, kelp products, fish products, perhaps. Anyway, I haven't decided all what I'm going to put in here yet, but I'm planning for a fall garden, this being September, Zone 8B of Texas, 2017.
This is the black and yellow garden spider, and she set up housekeeping duties in my original garden a couple of weeks ago, and I think she's been keeping the grasshopper population down. As you can see, they've done a number on my green bell pepper leaves there in the bottom right corner. And here you can see that she left a sack of little babies, a bunch of them, to carry on after she's gone.
There it is, all watered in. Could use maybe a little bit more soil, which might take the place in the form of mulch after I get plants that are established in. Here's my garden. I've got on the left down here, I've got some parsley, some thyme, and some oregano. I got an onion here in the front, red seedless grapes in the back, tomatoes, not coming up yet, more parsley, and I've got a substantial basil tree bush here. I've got 3 different bell peppers coming up. I've got my gardener's little friend here keeping the bugs out, and she's making babies over there. Over here I've got sage, and I've got pepper, a jalapeno plant back there with a couple coming up. I've got some rosemary in a bucket, and I forget what this is. It's either a blackberry or a blueberry coming up in the bucket. And then here I've got cilantro planted, but nothing's come up. Here I've got some lettuce greens coming up. Here I planted some lettuce Grand Rapids version, which is tip burn resistant. Here I've got some Brussels sprouts planted, and here I've got some spinach and broccoli and cauliflower, which looks like weeds are coming up right now. No, it looks like maybe I have one cauliflower right there in the middle. So cross my fingers, and once I get them established and transplanted into the big garden, I've got some mulch, some cypress mulch, and I've got some cocoa coir blended with some perlite to spread in there as well, if and when it's needed. So I think I'm ready to go. Oh, and I've got my new compost tumbler. Just came in a couple nights ago, and so I don't have much to show you right now. I've got some garden refuse and some weeds, some jack-in-the-box bag, and some kitchen leftovers like that there, some onion and bottoms of some asparagus, and paper towel. So yeah, I'm hoping everything goes the way I've want it to. I've had really good fortune with this small garden back here the past couple of years, and so I'm hoping for good things out of this bigger version. And I'm going to go ahead and plant some seeds now, or maybe Monday, and for my fall crop. a lot of what I showed you over there in those buckets. And then if those take off, then I'll transplant them over here when it's time. All right, wish me luck, people. If this goes good, I have plans to build another one just like this one, about the same size right there, because we don't park in that spot. We park over there, my van, and another vehicle over there where our feral cat that adopted us likes to hang out. The second version of my garden improvement. This is September 2017. Went down to Lowe's and got these fence pieces so that the feral cat that adopted our family won't get in there and make a litter bed out of my garden. Already caught him in there once before I got the fence up. Last night he was walking around these rails, and I know he'll use it as a litter garden because he did the first garden back there. And when he scratches and hides his litter in there, he upends the roots and they dry out and the plants die. So I spent the money and got this nice decorative fencing to put around my garden. Gives me walking space inside. I added a few more bags of the Dr. Earth gardening soil, and moved my potted plants inside where I'm starting some seeds. Some haven't come up yet, some have. There's the cauliflower right there. I've got new sprouts coming up on that berry bush or vine, whatever it is, and I've got some gourmet greens coming up in that center pot right there. So looking forward to seeing what all comes up, what doesn't. I took away the fence from the front of the garden because now everything is enclosed. Didn't even think about that till a friend of mine said something. And so all these pieces that are over there on top of that cart, there's I think 6 of them, and I bought 11, so 6 of them didn't need to be used. I'll take those back to Lowe's for a refund, or I'll hold on to them until that time when I do another raised bed and extend it out even further out to here. So yeah, it's pretty good. I've got my compost tumbler here with a post little handle that broke off my hoe, holding it in place so it doesn't go over with the doors down and it'll have the water I just added leak out. Bought a new hose, which is kink free and snag and rink and won't crimp and everything. Got this really nice wand to go on it, but the water leaks really bad right there. You can see it's not the hose, it's not the washer, it's coming from this area. You can see it like right there. It's a defect in the connector on this hose, this metal part. It's not sealed good. So I'll take that back and get a replacement. Oh, and I also got this nifty timer. It runs on 2 AA batteries, and right now it's off. If I set it to auto, then it will come on at 1:20 p.m. I can also turn it and hit manual twice. It says 10 minutes, and it will start and run for 10 minutes on manual. And you would just leave that on all the time. Now I do see just a tiny little bit of a drip coming out of there, so I might want to take that. Oh, I see. It's not the timer. It's the faucet. It's an old faucet, and it probably needs to be replaced. The one on the other side of the house does too. So this is a pretty cool device, and then you can set it, the clocks, the start time, how long and how often, and just quickly turn it to off. You can put a delay, all sorts of things on there. It's very cool. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that and have the water come on without having to rely on my family to water my garden for me. As soon as I plant in the big raised bed there, then I'll get some things coming up. Then I've got 3 bags of cypress mulch here waiting to put down on there, and I've got some things coming up over here for the first time that I'm waiting to get a little bit bigger, and then I'll cypress mulch that area as well. My red seedless grapevine keeps on going, so I'm trying to train it around the fence so that it will provide some shade for these delicate herbs down here in the afternoon, because the west sun comes in here. And so if I can train that vine to grow all along that fence, then that'll protect the sun from coming in and baking my little delicate herbs there. All right, so you can probably see I've got some bell peppers growing over there. I don't know if it's focusing very well, but there's one there, and there's a couple more to the upper right of that one. I'm excited about that because I like bell peppers. Tomato plant in the middle, I just pruned it back some, got a lot of dead stuff off, and I need to fertilize that some so that maybe some more tomatoes will come up. So yeah, I just incorporated the gate that was part of the fence on front there into here, so that, and I zip tied it to the new stuff, so that, and I put these cinder blocks under because it raises up, and because of where it is on the sides over there. So I put these other cinder blocks underneath to keep the cat from being able to crawl under. So real easy to be able to get inside, you know, and do my work. So I'm really excited about it all. Just need more time and a few more days in my schedule that I can work on this all. It's not staying totally tight closed right now. It's a work in progress, but it's doable, and I like all the space I have around it to maneuver and get things done. I can put more potted plants around the sides of the raised bed, or at least in parts. I've got that cinder block holding that end piece up, and got a cinder block back there holding that end piece up. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about it and can't wait to keep on going. An addendum to the previous video, I have now planted my fall crop, and before I get hate mail, yes, I do know that a lot of these are planted too close to each other, but I'm kind of pessimistic, and if I don't get that many good results, then whatever it does come up, I'll have lots of room to weed them, or to separate them. So from the left, I've got cauliflower, cilantro, some pepperoncini peppers, some celery. In here I've got some broccoli, and along the side and front I've got peas for shading all the rest from the sun. After the pepperoncini peppers, I've got celery, spinach, lettuce, gourmet greens, and Brussels sprouts. And that lettuce is a burn tip resistant form, so hopefully it won't too bad in the summer. So that's what I've got. It looks like this gourmet green is starting to come up pretty good right here, and so that's lettuce I could just eat, but I'll let it mature a little bit first. I've got something coming up. Well, no, maybe not. I'm heartened by seeing all these new shoots on this old either blackberry or blueberry. There's some spinach coming up, and some cauliflower shoots coming up. So I'm gonna have a lot of really good stuff to eat here soon. That doesn't look like celery, that looks like another onion. So we'll see what happens. I've got a whole lot of basil from these seeds that dropped from my basil plant coming up down below. So I will be taking those out and repotting them, and I'll have basil plants for my friends if they want any. This looks like another onion coming up over here, and more basil over there. I planted lots of other things, but I don't see them coming up. And there's a basil back there that's ready to be transplanted, dug up and put into a pot and given to somebody. I've got jalapenos, a few small ones coming up over there. I think it's just not getting enough sunlight tucked away in that corner. But I do love seeing these green bell peppers coming up, and my little garden spider to try and keep away the grasshoppers, which I think it's the change of season. They're not really here anymore. One thing I just noticed as I planted all these seeds is I have a lot of ants running back and forth on here. I don't know if you can see that one right in the middle running around. I think they're fire ants, but I'm not quite sure. There's some crawling around. And I'm not sure why they're here all of a sudden, except for the fact that it's up high, and I know fire ants like to be up high out of the water and stuff. So I will keep disturbing them until they decide it's time to move. Hopefully. I don't want to put any poisons down on my garden. And I don't want to bring any guineas in going through my tender garden that I just started. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes with the ants, because I sure don't want those ants in here. And I got to figure out a better way of getting my gate to close. But either way, it's good. It'll keep the cat out for now, I think.
Okay, this is a picture of some of the stuff I use to fill my raised bed with. We have organic garden soil from Living Earth. I think I said Dr. Earth earlier in this video. And we also have organic raised bed mix from Harvest Organics. Both of these are OMRI certified. And these are the seeds that I've planted, except for the beets and carrots. Those I have not planted yet, but I do intend to. I've also bought some potatoes that I'm going to try and start